And we have breaking news. That's right. Colorado Avalanche, your Stanley Cup champions. They end the reign of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who had won 2 in a row, looking for a 3rd straight cup, but not to be. Colorado in 6, and they win on Tampa's ice at Amalie to clinch this thing and win 4-2. Low-scoring game, 2-1. After a lot of goals throughout these playoffs, kind of unusual that the final game comes down to 2-1. And it was all early, basically. Tampa got 1 first, up 1-0 after 1 period. Colorado got 2 in the second, nothing in the third, and Colorado gets the cup. Congratulations. All right, let's bring in Alan May and find out what's what. For the Geico 15. Ultimately, this came down to a few small things here or there. What was the difference in the series from your perspective?
I just think the wear and tear of the Tampa Bay Lightning caught up to them at times. And you saw tonight in the third period, they couldn't get it going. They only had 4 shots in the third period. They hardly had a shot attempt. And, some of that stylistically, but I just think, all the wear and tear of 3 years in a row, being in the finals, a couple of weird seasons because of COVID, and all of a sudden they just run out of steam. But what an incredible, courageous effort. I thought they were carried by their goaltender throughout the playoffs. Nikita Kucherov was rising up at all times, Palat, Stamkos, but they just didn't have enough. And when you look at if this series would have kept going on, I don't know if the Avalanche would have had enough players to continue playing in the playoffs. They're a lot younger, but the injuries were mounting up. And I wish the league and the teams would do the players a great service and let us know who was hurt, what injuries they had, how many injuries they had, how bad they were, because there's just so much. There's a beatdown. There's blood, there's bruises, there's breaks, and it's just so hard to win the Stanley Cup because it's so violent. As time goes on, you're getting hit with pucks, you're getting hit with bodies, you're sacrificing every ounce of your physical well-being to win the cup. And the team that finally got it again with Nathan MacKinnon, it's been a long time since the Avs had won it before. Nathan MacKinnon and that group of players, they grinded their way through these playoffs and found a way to hoist that cup.
What is the story of the Avs season and of this playoff run? Let's start, kind of breaking down first the champs, because we always want to go with the positive, right? So what's the story of the Avs here?
I think it was the speed and the determination that they played. We'll say determination first. You look at their leadership in Landeskog, McKinnon, Rantanen. Those are their 3 big guys. And they led, I thought, with reckless abandon throughout the playoffs. And they were providing big goals and points. And I just look at, there was never any quit. When they won the Western Conference Championship, they didn't look happy. There was still business to be done. They lost in the second round. I think it was 3 seasons in a row. A lot of people had them picked to win the cup the last 3 seasons in a row. They made some key changes as time went on. And the guy that gets that goal tonight, Arturi Lehkonen, who gets them going, all of a sudden there's another great trade that paid off. And I just think all the little additions, Josh Manson was just incredible throughout these playoffs. And they just kept finding ways to win. Players were dropping like flies. I heard that Nichushkin walked into the arena tonight, or limped in with a walking boot on, with a cast, and somehow he was grinding it out and playing as hard as he could to help his team win this. Burakovsky's out with an injury. Cogliano got hurt early in this one, but shot blocking, taking hits, making hits, guys doing whatever they could to win the cup. And I think the Avalanche last year, getting stung as bad as they did by the Golden Knights, it taught them a lot of lessons, how to determine how much blood, sweat, guts that you've got to put into a win.
All right, now for Tampa Bay. They try for their 3rd cup. It doesn't come to fruition. It ends in the Stanley Cup final. They lose it in 6. I'm with you. The third period, I was trying to figure out if I expected more fight or grit in that third period, or if it's just a matter of, listen, you can't give what you don't have, and this was a car that was out of gas. What did you see with Tampa in the third period, and we're surprised you didn't see more?
I thought the way the Avalanche played in this game, they kind of grinded the Lightning down. And as the third period came out, they weren't checking the body anymore. They were checking the puck. And what they were doing, with as soon as they get that puck on their stick after that McKinnon goal when they were up 2-1, they forced a puck below the goal line inside the Lightning zone. They took away the boards. They were checking the puck and just taking it, flipping it back in. It's tiring. It's frustrating. It's really hard to draw energy when you're playing that type of hockey. And you know what? You look at that timeout late by Jared Bednar when he had his players over at the board, and the coach normally doesn't bring the whiteboard down to the ice. And he was just told the players, you've got to continue just to throw the puck down the ice. No skating with it. Just continue to get it inside their blue line, preferably behind the goal line, maybe behind the net. But you've got to find a way to keep frustrating them. Don't let them mount an attack. Don't let them gain with speed. And they never could gain any speed. And, you know, it was the first shot they had of that period was a long shot late in the period. They got a one-timer for Kucherov. And then they had 2 desperation shots from the perimeter late in the period when the goaltender was pulled. But the 4 shots isn't going to cut it. And it just goes to show how well the Colorado Avalanche played. And I thought the last game in Game 5, they looked uptight. And they looked like maybe they were planning on what was going to happen. And all of a sudden they realized, hey, let's just worry about the now. The now is our next shift. The now is this game, winning this period, whatever you have to do to get the W, the 4th W in the series. Don't even think about the 4th W. Just think about the win tonight. And they looked like a lot more commitment, a lot more focus tonight. But I was really worried. Like I said earlier, I didn't think they were going to have any players left if they got to a Game 7 because there was a lot of ground and pound in this series.
All right, 2 more. First one, kind of a 2-parter, right? How open is the window for Colorado to maybe go on a little bit of a run next season, spinning it forward? And how much does this close the Tampa window after they won 2 straight but now just fall short of a 3rd straight?
Well, I'm going to answer the Tampa question first. I don't think they're done yet. There's just something about that team. Their coach is incredible. Right now, John Cooper is the best coach in the game in the National Hockey League. And I look at the players, the leadership that they've had out of, you know, Hedman, Stamkos, Kucherov. Those guys aren't done. They're ready to continue to play. And they're grinding it out, and they're grinding it out. I look at them. They're going to retool. They got players that want to be there. They had players that adapted. They need to be healthy. And I think they're going to be right there again. They've still got the best goaltender in the National Hockey League. He won them the Toronto series. He won them the Rangers series. You know, they all shut down and just annihilated the Florida Panthers. And then we get to the Colorado Avalanche. Can they do this again? Yes. But they've got a lot of unrestricted free agents that a lot of teams are going to be throwing a lot of money at. Nazem Kadri, Andre Burakovsky, Nikushkin, Josh Manson, Lehkonen. You know, those players are all going to be available for everyone else on July 13th because they're attractive. You know, you've got to take the money. But I do believe in, now that the Avalanche has had a taste, now that Landeskog, Rantanen, McKinnon, Makar, the best young defenseman in the game right now.
He just won the Conn Smythe. Cale Makar's won the Conn Smythe.
Yeah, and that was never in doubt that he was going to be the guy that wins that. As long as the Avalanche won this series, it was Makar's. If Tampa wins it, it's Vasilevsky. But without a doubt, Cale Makar proved so many people wrong in the playoffs that he couldn't play defense, and people are trying to snipe at him even in this series. But I thought he rose up so many different times. It's not just the goals, the assists, but it was stellar defensive play. But I look at their leadership group or the guys that you lean on. Colorado's going to be there again. Now they've got a belief. Now they're the number 1 team, and they're going to have to play against everyone's best. And one of the things that did happen, it's going to be a lot tougher season next year because people showed, the Tampa Bay Lightning showed how you have to play the Avalanche. So it's going to be a lot more physical, a lot more gritty for the Avalanche just to play in the Western Conference alone next year. But I think they're up to it. There's goaltenders, also a free agent. So there's pieces that they have to put in place. And like the Tampa Bay Lightning, they won it. They had to get rid of guys, and they replaced them with some really good hockey players that bought into it. And I was kind of hoping for a game. I was really hoping for a Game 7. I haven't hid that fact. I just thought it would be great for hockey. This series was spectacular for the National Hockey League and the people that love watching the game of hockey.
Well, instead it's over. Colorado wins. They win the cup. And you know the deal. You win the cup, you get it for a day. So, Alan May, I know you've thought about it. If you won the cup, what's one thing that you would do in your day with the cup that it would have to happen?
Oh, you know what? I would definitely be inside my parents' house and having a party at my parents' house in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And there'd be a lot of beer drank out of that thing, Canadian beer. But it would definitely be, we all don't get there. This is a tough sport to play without having both your parents involved. And as each and every one of these guys take these cups back to their hometown, it revolves around their parents, their brothers and sisters, their grandparents, you name it, and their best friends. So you just want to make sure you're celebrating with all those people.
There you go. Well done. We like celebrating with you throughout the playoffs. Excellent work. There's our guy, Alan May, former NHL guy, and he gets it done. All right, here's your odds for next year's Cup. Colorado, plus 600 to repeat. That's 14.3%. Tampa Bay, plus 800. They're second on the boards. That's 11%. Then everybody else, single digits. Rangers are third, tied with the Hurricanes. Florida Panthers, great regular season, disappointing in the playoffs. They are coming with Vegas and Toronto and Edmonton, all plus 1,200 or 12-1.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.